Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm just going to go through a trade that I took today, being Friday, which is 6th of May 2022, and this was a nice trade that I took during New York session, because during London session that I usually trade, I was in class. So New York session, I got the opportunity to see the trade and I took it right from my cell phone with my eyes. That is why most of the times when you hear what you have seen, you can't unsee it. This is a clear and good example. So how did I get into this trade and what was the idea behind this trade? Early in the morning during New York session, let me just switch down to my 4-hour time frame, and please listen carefully so you understand. I've noticed that since I've started making this kind of videos, I have been really learning more, and despite the mistakes that I made this week on by trading US30, I still managed to end up with a profitable week, even though it's 1 hour compared to some weeks that I end with minus 3 hours or something like that. There are some weeks I have losses, but this week and last week I've been like seeing a little bit of progress. Like, I believe this is going to be a consistent move for me, and this video is one of the ways that is helping me to review my trade. And seriously, if you think this video is not going to help you, then trust me, you are lying to yourself, because I know definitely this video is going to at least impart a little bit of knowledge to your plan. So if you are wondering where I learned how to trade, well, I learned from the Phantom Trading Academy. They are one of the best trading academies so far, but the whole concept takes time, and seriously, it takes a lot of time. So without wasting much of your time, let me just go down to my 4-hour time frames. Well, I started the analysis from daily time frame, but I will just cut things short and go down to the 4-hour time frame so that you understand this. So coming back to 4-hour time frame, 4H time frame, you can see that I have some clear, although it's not too clear drawing, but you will get to understand it when I go towards the 15 minutes time frame. Let me just hope maybe in my next video I will make this my thing to be darker. I don't know, but if you can see it, well, it's nice. But I don't know if you can see it, but I do see it clearly. But if you can't see it, you might leave a comment in the comment section below so that I will change my theme and try out the dark template, because I believe it's dark. So last week, you remember we were trading above the 50% Fibonacci retracement level that I drew. I was like, you can see from here, this is the 50% level. So last week I was expecting a move something like this, go up to the upside, then come back to clear this liquidity, but it never happened. What was actually happening was that this market was generating lots of liquidity, like lots of it, before it can do whatever it like. As at now, it has generated more and plenty of liquidity, and I do believe that hopefully it will come to clear all this liquidity. So coming back to what happened here, well, on Monday, which I don't know this actual date, but I'm just going to go through the trade that I took today. Forget Mondays and others. You can see from this time frame, this 4H time frame, that the market has been moving this way, sideways, which is more of like an uptrend. But you notice something, that at this spot something happened. It did broke structure, even though it did not close below. I was actually expecting that the market is bearish, so we should be expecting a bear market. But despite the bear market that we are expecting, we still need to consider this little pullback or retracement that has been taking place for some time now. So this was how I went to the trade. I went down to 15 minutes time frame. I would have loved to use my replay tool, but my replay tool seems not to be working very perfectly. So coming down to 15, because it's not working because of networks. So coming down to the 15 minutes time frame, when I noticed that it has broken above this structure, then I decided, okay, that since it's broken above that structure, I should be expecting some pullback in the next supply zone, and that was what happened. So I was expecting this pullback, and I was waiting for this choke, so that after this choke like this, after this first change of character, we call it change of character, it will come back again, then before I look for my 1 minute entry criteria, then pull back, but that did not happen. So I was like, okay, maybe I've missed this market. Once I noticed that this was over, there was no opportunity for me, although I marked this out, but I did not enter the trade because it was below. You can see from my diagram here, I marked it out. It was very, very low on the market, so I did not enter this trade, but I marked it out as my end of the day recap that I always do. So once I got to this level, this was around London session. So New York session went down and float and went down to. So coming back to this session, coming back to after the close of New York session, it went down and broke the structure below. I was like, okay, since it has broken the structure below, definitely it will pull back to some extent then before starts going down. So I was like anticipating for the pull up to the upside. And once I got this during New York session, I saw this quick grass sweep to the downside, thereby sweeping this liquidity, and it started moving to the upside. I was like, okay, maybe I will enter this sell from this place after it has swept this liquidity of this New York session, because sometimes the market can go like this just to sweep out this Asian session liquidity, then give out my 1 minute confirmation entry before it starts going down. You get it? So I did set my alert around this. You can see this my circle here. Let me just zoom it out. This was during New York Asian session. You notice that this equal high was created. So once I did set my alert to see if there will be a good confirmation for me to enter this trade. But since I entered this trade, I was like planning to enter this trade. Once it gives me 1 minute confirmation to the downside, like that 1 minute that I just drew now, then I take it to the downside. But it did not give me the confirmation. Instead, it swept up. And when it did sweep to the upside now, I saw something like, let me just go to the 5 minutes time frame. It went up to this level, but did not tap in. Once you notice something like this, if you're from Phantom Academy, you will notice that this is inducement because it has not tapped. So I was like, okay, since it has not tapped, I'm going to target this high to clear it out, then before I expect any other thing. So once I noticed this movement, then I went down to my 1 minute time frame. You can see from my 1M time frame here. Notice that on my 1 minute time frame, I can see multiple inducement around this place, multiple inducements. So I was like, okay, if this market is going to pull back, it should pull back to this demand level before going back to sweep that liquidity to the upside. Then I set my buy limit around this place, hoping for the market to come and tap me in. But market did not tap me in. Instead, it respected this demand zone here, then moved up to clear that liquidity. During the close of London session, I was not available, so I just left it. I was at the bank because I went to rectify some issues. So coming back to New York session, I noticed something during New York session, and this thing actually was one of the main reasons I entered this trade. So let me just go through again. So on getting to New York session, this whole background is New York session. So once I did notice something like a good setup around this place. Let me zoom it out so that you can see. I myself, this is what I will be looking at when I come back to watch this video. So I noticed something about this trade. This was the demand zone that caused the sweep of this inducement. I was like, okay, let me see a 15 minutes change of character, and lo and behold, I saw this change of character. I was like, okay, this is a potential supply chain that is already forming. So I drew out my supply chain. Then you can see this supply chain already holding this place. Let me just delete this one so that the diagram will be a little bit clear. So I saw this supply chain, like the chain is flowing from here. Let me use from here to this place. So you can see, and this particular candlestick is the supply that actually broke structure. I was like very good and fine. So I will wait for it to come back to this supply zone before I look for my 1 minute entry criteria, and that was what I actually did. So coming back to this zone after the first 15 minutes break of structure, I went down to my 1 minute time frame here. You can see on my 1 minute, if this explanation is not too clear with you, please in my next video, just make me understand where I'm getting it wrong, because this video I'm recording it for my personal purpose, but I believe some people will have a lot to learn, and this is a way to build my brand and personality as well as a forex trader. I just hope you understand me. So coming back to the 15 minutes time frame, to the 15 minute supply zone, you remember the 15 minute supply zone that I marked out? I was like, okay, waiting for a change of character, and this was the first change of character. As if that first change of character was not enough, this was the demand zone that caused the sweep to the upside, and it went down, came back below and broke structure. It came back now to break this demand zone and went down and still broke this one. I was like, good and fine, this is a good entry confirmation for me. And me looking at something like this, I wanted to place my trade somewhere around this place, because after I saw this sweep, then the market floated down. But I was like, I was not too sure. I was not very sure of this whole setup. So I decided, like, okay, if this market tagged me in, it tagged me. If it did not tag me in, then I will just have to leave it like that. I will share a screenshot of the trade, and you can see. Let me just show you so that you can see. Check this place. This is this exact time is the price now is 1.05928. Check this screen and check this entry from my MetaTrader 5 and confirm for yourself that I did enter this trade at this exact point. And they used a 4 pip stop loss. This is 4 pip stop loss. You can see here 4 ticks, 4.1 ticks. Yeah, it's actually 4.1 ticks. So I marked out this week, this end of the week, then gave a little room or buffer for this trade to breathe. Then I set my entry limit or sales limit around this place with my stop loss above, then left it. And I was waiting till I could not wait anymore, and London session and New York session closed, and New York session closed around this place, and I managed to get out with 4R, because today is Friday and I won't manage to go out, although I was targeting 10R, which is the low of the New York session. And you can see at the end of the day, it did take out the low, and that would have hit my TP, and that would have been 5R for me, because I reached 0.5%. And seriously, this whole thing has been working. Like, me making video and going through my video has been really helpful to me. I don't know if it's helpful to you, but I believe definitely you will find it very helpful. And I really hope you enjoy this video and find it very helpful. Maybe if you didn't find it helpful, or you think there is a way I can improve or fix something in my videos, then do well to leave a comment, and I will really appreciate it. Hope to see you in my next video. And don't forget, I do take losses. Like, I took losses on US30. I was trying to trade US30 this week, and it took all the profit that I made on Monday. Yeah, I made some profit on Monday this week. So US30 took some of the profit and even took me to a loss stage. Like, I was already in a drawdown stage, but thank God for this last trade out of 5R, I was able to come back to 2R. That is, let me say, it's 2R approximately for the week. I took just two trades. Other one was like mistake, trying to test things out, but don't test things out with your live account if you don't have the money to lose. So that's just it for me. I was able to, this is just a still testing account. I really think I will get better doing this kind of videos. I just hope you find this helpful. If you don't find it helpful, then God forgive all of us, and I really hope. Well, this is another entry. Like, I noticed something about this 1 minute time frame. Just that, let me just go, before I forget, let me just go through the video so that some of you might learn something. For people looking for seconds confirmation entry, and this was a kind of setup I took on Friday. I noticed that, well, with experience, you will see all this stuff, but once you see it, you can't unsee it. Let me show you. You see, this is something for people looking for seconds time frame setup. Let me just zoom it out. Yeah, you can see this red line. This is like a supply zone, a supply zone that went up to tap into and mitigate. Now it after it has swept that liquidity to the upside. Now this is the first chalk here. You can see this is the first chalk, and it has not completely mitigated this one. But because this is a 1 minute time frame, some people just enter this trade at the top here. You get it? But if you are the type that always want to wait for another second confirmation entry, this is the second confirmation entry. It went broke with wick. Now you still have your supply zone here. Now, instead of, if I were to enter this trade, I would have tagged in something like this, then placed my sell limits here with my 3 pip stop loss as usual. 3 pip stop loss, 3 pips. Let me show you 3 pip stop loss. Okay, this is my 3 pip stop loss, and I will target the low. I'm targeting the low because my higher time frame is telling me that this market is going to go down. You can see just like 1 minute time frame, but this is something really vital some people need to keep in mind. You need to be fast about this too, because any little mistake slip off your finger and that move is gone. You can still see that after this first move, the market still went down again, but I don't take trades once it has gone really down like this. Market still went down again. Let me just show you. You can still see your supply zone here. You can see your supply zone here. If you are to enter the trade again, then you can enter again here. This is how some people place their trade, but I don't do that. For now, I just want to master my skills first. You can see this is another trade. After this is another change of character again. So this is how some pro traders trade. Then you still have your supply zone here. Let me see. This is your supply zone here. From here to this place is your supply zone. Then you go again. Once it breaks the structure, you go break even again. You can see if I were to enter all this trade, then now look at this one again. If I miss one, I would have entered all these trades sometimes, but for now, I'm not entering this kind of trade. Just take note. This one broke structure, and this is my supply zone here. This is my supply zone. I don't know if I would be tagged in on this trade, but I just hope so. Yeah, I got tagged in, barely tagged in. And let me see if my stop loss will permit me to tag in 5 pips, 3 pips, sorry. 3 pips. It will not allow me to tag in 3 pips because I always give buffer for my stop loss. So I would have missed this trade or tapped in exactly, something like that. Then that's 1, 2. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trade. You can still come in and check again. Let's see if we are going to tap in. This is something like you need to keep in mind. Let me see, this is it. This one went up, it mitigated this one. So this is my next supply. This is something you need to understand. It takes time to understand this whole concept. You can still see here, let me just go through again. It came here. It's going to be funny for some people, but this actually works. It came here, swept liquidity to the upside. Now broke structure to the downside. Now you can see there was a change. It swept liquidity, went down. This one went and mitigated it. This one went up and mitigated it. Now this one did not go up to mitigate it. You still can see this. You can mark out this whole range. Mark out this whole range. And see this whole range again. This is how it just continue to go until it decides to clear completely. 3 pips stop loss. 3 pips stop loss. There's my 3 pips with my buffer. My buffer will be around this place, 5 ticks sometimes. And that's it for it. You can see. Let me see how many trades I've managed. If I'm to enter this trade, I would have managed to enter multiple entries, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way down to this downside. That's all for this video.